Defend Our Democracy will be engaging in a symbolic picket outside the Department of Justice offices in Pretoria, demanding that Thembi Simelane must step down as a minister. Up until last night, when she was reshuffled to Human Settlements, Simelane was serving as Justice Minister. Defend Our Democracy is also calling for President Cyril Ramaphosa to show leadership and act against the VBS-implicated minister. For more on this, we are joined by Calvin Luther, who is an SABC reporter. Calvin, thank you so much for your time. Of course, the needle has shifted significantly from when Defend Our Democracy initially planned this picket. A reshuffle has since happened. What are they saying with these latest developments? Are they satisfied with them? Has the picket gained momentum?
Good afternoon to you, Diabo, and to our SABC viewers at home. In fact, they have moved from the Justice Department to Human Settlements offices behind me. The reason is that, as you have mentioned, that Thembi Simelane was reshuffled from that department to Human Settlement. To answer your questions, the organization is not happy about that, but I will introduce Zaakirah Vadi, the director of the organization. Thank you very much for your time. You are picketing here outside the Human Settlements offices. You want Thembi Simelane to be completely removed from the cabinet. You can tell us more about this picket.
Thank you very much. What we're doing here is more of a symbolic action. So we've tied a tape that says connect the dots, scene of alleged crime, corruption and capture. And this is because the issues that Minister Simelane faced at the Department of Justice, based on what she had allegedly done during her tenure as mayor of Polokwane, has now moved with her to the Department of Human Settlements. So those questions about her integrity, about alleged VBS-linked matter, all of those issues have moved with her here. Our view is that Minister Simelane should have stepped down a long time ago from her position to deal with all of these matters. And in the absence of that, the President, instead of playing musical chairs and moving around his cabinet, should have in fact relieved Minister Simelane of her duties. And what that would have meant is that she steps away from those duties up until all of the court processes and whatever else required clarity around her matter is finalized. And I think that would have given members of the public a better sense of assurance about issues of accountability.
How are you viewing the President Cyril Ramaphosa removing Simelane to this new department?
I think it's quite concerning because a president is expected to exercise political accountability. A president can hire people to the cabinet and can fire people from that cabinet. And I think that this time the president certainly had the prerogative and should have done so. He should have removed Minister Simelane from her post. For us, it is Anti-Corruption Week at the moment, and on the 9th of December every year, government has this big event where they report back to the public, to civil society organizations, to share what they have done to tackle state capture, corruption, to ensure that there's better public accountability and transparency. But when that report is given and you have a matter like this that is really casting a shadow over everything, you begin to ask, is government really serious about issues of accountability? And I think that's really what is at play here.
You can tell us about your activities now since it's Anti-Corruption Week.
Sure. So during Anti-Corruption Week, this is the 4th Anti-Corruption Week that we'll be hosting. And the idea is that anyone who wants to host an event in any part of the country as part of the week-long activities can do so. So there are organizations who are affiliated to Defend Our Democracy that in their own provinces and communities will be hosting certain events. From Defend Our Democracy side, as we've tied this crime scene or alleged crime scene tape here, we'll be going to other sites of alleged corruption and state capture to do the same. One of those sites many people in South Africa would be familiar with is the Gupta compound in Saxonwold. There are a range of other areas where there have been questionable tenders, dodgy deals, and infrastructure projects that simply haven't been finished but millions of rands put into them. And that's what we'll be doing through the week at different sites. We'll be visiting different communities to screen some documentaries. One of the documentaries that we'll be screening is that of Babita Deokaran, This was the whistleblower from Thembi Hospital and the Department of Health that was shot dead after she blew the whistle on 850 million rand of questionable deals. And we think it's important to take these documentaries into communities so people understand the extent of corruption in this country, and importantly, how it links back to service delivery. When there is corruption, that money that is meant to be going to poor people for housing, for hospitals, for schools, for education, that money is diverted into somebody's pocket. And the third thing we'll be doing this week is we're hosting a webinar together with a range of other civil society organizations. Quite a few organizations are doing anti-corruption work in the country at the moment, and we feel it's important to kind of get a reflective session on that work for the last year and also begin to assess into 2025 what are the priority areas of action. We know, for example, that the Zondo Commission has now produced a report. There are a set of recommendations. Just a few weeks ago, KSEC and PARI held a conference where the presidency came and delivered some feedback on where they are in terms of implementing those Zondo recommendations. Our view at the moment is that it's not enough. It's not enough as yet to deal with the scope of the problem and the scale of corruption and state capture in the country. As we see, today, there are still state capture networks that are continuing. Our view is that they have gone into provinces, into municipalities, and that's where a lot of the looting is now taking place. But at the same time, there are new reports. There's been a global report at the moment that says that in South Africa, increasingly there's a connection between organized crime and corruption within a state level. And it's a kind of nexus between organized crime, business, and those within government. And that's a very dangerous trend for the country because, all sorts of things fall under that category, from assassinations, etc. And that's something that we need to be concerned about going into the future.
Zaakirah, you can tell us now where to from here. Now, Thembi Simelane is the new Minister of Human Settlements, moved from the old portfolio of Justice and Constitutional Development. You are not happy about that. What are you going to do now? Where to from here?
I think the important thing is to continue highlighting this issue. There are others, different other political parties, etc., that have similarly expressed their views on the matter. We can only call on the President to do the right thing in this particular instance. Ultimately, it is his prerogative. At this point, our constitutional arrangement in the way this country is governed gives the President that power to hire and fire. And we can only urge him as citizens of this country to do what is in the interest of the public.
Thank you very much. That was Zaakirah Vadi from an organization called Defend Our Democracy, explaining to SABC about that they are not happy about that Thembi Simelane is now moved to the Human Settlements offices. According to them, she was supposed to be fired by the President of the Republic of South Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa. So they are picketing here, as you have heard her saying that they are picketing just to show that they are not happy and they are not satisfied about the move. Back to you in studio.
Thanks, Calvin, for that update.